That's your club logo?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's gonna be a good day, and everything is going to go my way. It's gonna be a good day. The sun is shining bright and it's here to stay.
Hello. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, leather lovers and early risers. It's Billy Foster with GayPHX. We're live and we're coming to you on this final day of International Mr. Leather 2025, bright and early from the studios here in Phoenix with our friends from the Arizona Men of Leather, checking in live from Chicago. We've had a wild ride this weekend with fierce competition, powerful conversations, and today's no difference. It's the last stretch before the sash is handed out, and Arizona's still in the game. And let's take it over to Mike and crew. Howdy.
Billy, good morning.
Good morning. So how are things in
Thank
Chicago?
you for getting up so early back in Arizona.
I'm always up at this time.
It's not as cold today, but it's still just as exciting.
Excellent. And who do we have here today with us?
We have Billy Lane from the board president of the Leather Archives and Museum.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Billy.
Nice to meet you too, Billy. What a great name.
I agree. From one Billy to another, yay! Let me do the little here. Our live studio audience. So, Billy, for those that may not know, what is the Leather Archives and Museum, and what's its mission?
The Leather Archives and Museum was actually founded in the early 90s by a leatherman named Chuck Renslow and another leatherman named Tony DeBlas. And it was designed to save our history and designed to save our art and be able to tell our story. So that's what we're here for. Is it's a one-of-a-kind museum. There's nothing like it in the world. It's for the leather community. It's where our lives are recorded and saved and shared with others.
And what kind of archives or artifacts are in the archive?
Well, when you come into the museum and you come into the auditorium, it's called the Etienne Auditorium. And what's in the Etienne Auditorium are the murals that hung in Chuck Renslow's early businesses, the Gold Coast Bar, which is one of the earliest leather bars, and also his bathhouse. So his lover, Etienne, was an artist. And if you see a lot of the imagery around Chicago, particularly with International Mr. Leather, that's Etienne's artwork, and it's quite extraordinary. It's beautiful full-size murals that were taken from the bathhouse as well as from the Gold Coast, and that's actually part of the collection that we have. We have photographs from Tony DeBlas. We have sashes from winners. We have run pins, which are little pins that people in the leather community share with each other when they have events. So like there's this run pin here. So a lot of times people in the leather community will wear these pins. Here's for my friends in Ireland. A big shout out to my friend John O'Brien in Ireland, nice. The Leathermen of Ireland. So those are some of the things that are here, and a lot of art. I'm sitting here looking at some of the art in here that's on the walls, but people's papers. So when people pass away, they donate their papers, and so in the papers they have like they'll have their program from IML, the first IML that they came to, or maybe from one of their local contests, or maybe a kinky event that they taught a class at. So there's all kinds of stuff here for everybody. So
and how far back does it go?
God, I don't know how old our oldest thing is. That would be a great question for our archivist, Mel, who is an amazing archivist, but we've got some pretty old stuff here.
So are there like fan favorites or a jaw-dropping item that you've seen firsthand that you're just like, I can't believe we have this?
Well, I mean, when you see the murals are pretty amazing. But when you go down to our collection downstairs, we have curated exhibits from uh, the leather clubs going way back to the 50s.
Oh,
We
wow.
also have information about leather women, specifically leather women. We have some really beautiful exhibits from some of the famous dominatrices from New York City from way back when. There's a beautiful collection from Peter Fisk, and folks in the leather community know Peter. He's a very famous leatherman in the community. He lives in Palm Springs now. His whip collection is here. We've
Oh,
got we've got a vest that Chuck used to wear that was studded by a man named Lee Willis out of Seattle. It's this beautiful IML logo, the wingman logo in studs on the back of a vest. We have leather jackets that belong to a lot of different people. So it kind of depends on what your what your interest is. So if you're a club member and you can go downstairs and we have binders with the run pins, it's really cool to see your club's history. So for example, I'm a member of Delta International, and so there's the run pins, there's the colors in there, and we also have some archival material, some oral histories of those people. But if you're really into like knowing like older leathermen, there's like motorcycle club history here as well, and art. The art is really beautiful, and it's our art. A lot of this art, a lot of people are familiar with Mapplethorpe and how difficult it was for him to get his work shown. And so we have stuff that's beautiful like that. And artists struggle to get their work shown because it's homoerotic or it's super kinky. And you can show your art here, and you can save your art here. So
Matter of fact, I
The
think
other
I
thing
have
I
some art that I want to send.
yeah.
I noticed downstairs that in addition to all the club and run pins, they also have these beautiful portfolios that are filled with the club's patches.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, so the club's patches. I have several different vests. I don't have my Delta club vest on, but when you go to a run, you'll get a patch that's probably about 2 inches across, and a lot of times it'll have the year and the name of the event. And what'll happen is that people will put them on their vests. So a lot of people will have a specific club vest that will have all of their patches for the runs that they've gone to. And I've been going to Delta International since 1998. I was founded in '96, but I've got patches on that vest. I have my club colors, and then I have all the patches, and I'm kind of running out of space. So
Well, you're the board president of a whole leather archive
yes,
and museum
yeah.
where you can offload some of your surplus
Yes,
ones.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so it's so great. What's really nice too is when you come here is that we have a lot of people, not just community members that come here, but we actually have uh, academics that come here, and when they're interested in
Yeah.
things about the leather community.
Mel, the archivist, was telling us about that people will come here to do research, and they're going through, and she has everything so organized down there
Mhm.
that they can provide a description of what they want to look like, the history of leather clubs in Arizona, and
Mhm.
she'd be able to pull these boxes and binders out of all the donated materials. That's why it's essential that, because not only is this a gay space, it is specifically and essentially important for the leather sphere in the gay community.
Yeah, so the leather world encompasses the patch clubs,
Hmm.
like the Arizona Men of Leather, which is a back patch club. It includes people that are into all different types of kink that may or may
Right.
not belong to a club. people that do this professionally, like dominatrixes.
Mhm.
So let's say somebody's interested in knowing about, African American women dominatrixes from New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's that specific. We also annually we give out a scholarship for somebody that's a visiting scholar, and they actually submit to us to members of our board and to Gary and Mel, and they actually look at these things. And 2 years ago, this was really exciting for me because I remember when it happened. Over in England, there were a group of men that were engaged in consensual BDSM, and they were arrested and put in jail. And in the United States, it's called the Spanner case. So for those of you that are nerdy, that like to look things up like me, it's Spanner. And in the United States, we raised a lot of money at events to help with their defense. And so somebody a few years ago, a scholar from London, wanted to see what we had. And in our archives, we save, like, I'm an arch I'm a little archivist of myself. I save things. And so she was able to look through our archives and see flyers and programs about different organizations like the Arizona Men of Leather that were raising money for the Spanner Trust to help this. So so the type of research that's done here is academic research. We had a guy that there was a visiting scholar that actually wrote a scholarly work on the use of poppers. So, it's all different types of things. And then we also have.
That kind of like leads into my next question on why is it so important to preserve our history in leather, especially in this day and age where it feels like we're trying to be wiped from archives. What is it that we can do for our community to prevent that from happening for future generations?
Well, that's part of it. Part of it is, I mean, like I said, this space we're losing our spaces anyway, and this space is unique. Most people know that there's a lot less bars or a lot less places where we can do things, but we really need to support the Leather Archives and Museum, because this place doesn't just save our archives. This is a community meeting place. We're going to be showing a film about Darklands. So those of you that haven't been to Darklands that are kinky should really go. It's great. It's an annual event held in Antwerp, Belgium. This film is a documentary about that. So, and we're going to be able to show it here. And there's not a lot of places where you can show things like that. So we have contests here. We had a big reception for our spanking community. There's a big exhibit here on the spanking community. So this space here not only is an archive, but it's also really important for the space itself, because we own this space. Like, this is our space. And so it's super important for us to support our spaces, and so that they don't go away. Because when we lose our spaces, then we lose our ability to save our things.
Right.
So I've been a supporter of the archives since I was pretty young, and it was a little bit of money for me. It was $20, but I committed to it for a long time. And so that's the thing that I tell people. It's like, if you're younger or older and you don't have any money and you're in Chicago, feel free to volunteer. Gary's always looking for volunteers. If you're out from outside the area, if you have something that you think would be of historical value, contact Mel or Gary at the archives and chat with them about that. And if you're one of those people that's super lucky and privileged and stuff like that, and are able to help us out a little bit more, we're in the middle of a capital campaign to do some renovations here and make this place more accessible. Right now, this is an old building, and it was built a long time ago, and there's no way for our mobility impaired members of our community to get into this building.
Yeah. So I mean, the steps, you walk in here and it's impressive. It's like you're going into an important building.
Yeah.
But
it's an old synagogue.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's an old synagogue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's an old synagogue. So so back when it was there was no ADA. So, but
Right.
The space itself, the physical space, is so important.
And it's remained sacred space.
It is. It's sacred space. We have a monthly gear night. So some people don't feel comfortable wearing stuff, but they want to try it. So we have a gear night here. It's not at a bar, which is great if you're like into going to a bar and hanging out, but it's here. So it's really wonderful for people that are newer that might be a little intimidated by going into a leather bar or something. They can come here and try things on. And Gary said there's a lot of people that have tried pup hoods here for the first time, or harnesses. So it's a community space as well.
Yeah.
That's
Can
awesome.
you talk a little bit about what's going to be happening this morning here, the president's reception?
Yeah. So every year we have a president's reception, and we actually recognize a member in our community that for that last year has really gone above and beyond in support of the Leather Archives and Museum. And a lot of people don't know the name Ron Eman. Ron Eman was Chuck's partner, and he was the wind beneath Chuck's wings. Chuck was an amazing man. He was a business owner. He was a thought leader. He was a member of the Democratic Party. He told us to go out and vote. He was an incredible visionary, and really was able to inspire people to move. And Ron was the wind beneath his wings. If it wasn't for Ron Eman, Ron was an attorney, and Ron did all of this stuff on the legal side to make sure that Chuck's visions could go into place. So a lot of the reasons why IML has gone for 47 years and why we have this space is because of the work that Ron Eman did with Chuck. And unfortunately, Ron passed away this last year. So he was intensely private, unlike Chuck. So he was happy to stand. So when I was here about a year and a half ago, and this is probably going to make me cry, we had an artist named Gabriel Martinez who had come to the museum, and he saw Etienne's work, and he was so inspired by Etienne's work that he wanted to do a show of his own that reflected Etienne's work. He wanted to take Etienne's work and do his process. And so we had a grant from the Ruth Foundation that allowed us to do this, to bring Gabriel here and mount the show. And I got to, after the show was mounted, I got to walk through the show with Ron Eman. And Ron told me that Etienne would have just loved the show, that he would have loved Gabriel's work. And so this year we actually started a new visiting artist program. So separate from our visiting scholar program, with the work of Gabriel and our board member, Heather Raquel Phillips, and Gary and Mel. So we actually, with that inspiration from Gabriel that came here, and I got to walk through that exhibit with Ron, and it was a real special moment.
Being able to develop a visiting artist program like that, that seems to be a reflection of the fundraising and the support from people everywhere.
Absolutely.
I know you recently had the first Chicago Leather Pride here.
Oh my God, it was amazing. The Chicago community came out. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And it wasn't done by us. I mean, Gary and the museum staff, certainly all of our volunteers and Mel and Leslie and Ken, and they certainly helped out a lot, but it was done by the community, and the entire community participated. The title holders, the bars, it was incredible, and raised upwards of $12,000 for the museum, which was just amazing. It was absolutely incredible. To have it be a community event, spearheaded by community title holders. And so, a lot of times people in the leather community are like, oh, the title system, they're just, it's just the title holders do a lot of work.
It's important. Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really important.
It's easy to get lost in what appears to be the superficiality of some sort of male leather beauty contest. And it's,
don't get me wrong. I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that.
Yeah,
I like when people are
uh,
sexy and stuff like that. I
but to
enjoy
not
that.
see beyond that
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
well, it just means that we all have more work with those people in our community to say, no, it's not just who's the prettiest of them all.
Yeah.
It's look at what Mr. Pretty's did all year with his title.
Well, and you and I were talking about this before too. It's like what is sexy to us? And one of the things that's nice about the museum is that it's got all kinds of sexy. Like I'm sitting here in a room and I'm looking out at the hallway and I'm looking at erotic art representing, it's women's, it's female bodied erotic art that's kinky. And then I look to my left and there's male erotic art that's kinky and it's different, like, some of these are some of the men are hairy, some of the women are, very curvy, some of them are thinner and stuff like that. So it's different.
Well, look,
Yeah.
I've noticed that Home Depot has all of a sudden, at least on my Facebook feed, their
Uh-huh.
ads, they're now bears that are doing this construction work on my Home Depot ads, and I'm like, are you targeting me?
You like bears?
Oh, I do like the bears.
You
So,
like
how does the museum engage with the wider LGBT community outside of Chicago? Like, are there traveling exhibits? Are there online resources? How can people outside of Chicago learn more and be a
Yes.
part of this?
So there are definitely online resources. I mean, it's a museum, so it's actually nice if you're in Chicago to be able to come and see it. Gary travels quite a lot, so it was so exciting. He actually went down to Columbia recently, and they have an exhibit there um, uh, for kink in their they have like a section of kink in their LGBTQ museum down there, and there is a photograph of Chuck Renslow hanging down there. And Gary actually came down there and judged their contest, but also did that. And what's really nice
Did he
is
swipe the photo to bring back home?
no, actually, I think Gary brought it down there.
Oh.
And what's really cool is it's in a bathhouse, so Chuck would have really liked that. Man's Country was bathhouse. So it's really cool. So part of it is that you can go to the website and see some things, but it's definitely an experience that you need to be here. You know,
Yeah.
you need to be here to see it, to feel it.
Right. Well, it's a unique landmark in that
It's so
respect.
unique.
It's like you can't say, well, I'm interested in the Eiffel Tower, but is there going to be? Are they going to bring it over to my city? No, it's always going to be.
Exactly, and so I would say that if you follow Gary on Facebook or follow him on Instagram, he certainly travels a lot. He and I next weekend will be in Baltimore at Bears, Bikers, and Mayhem. So Gary does travel quite a lot, and he's always happy to chat with people. If you're trying to do a kinky thing, say at a gay campground, you can reach out to us for information. I mean, one of the things that people don't realize is that the first the first gay stuff around campgrounds was actually when we were doing motorcycle runs. Before we had gay campgrounds, there were motorcycle runs, and guys would get together and go and camp, and this is where we could actually be free to be ourselves. So those of you that are into your gay campgrounds know that you're the your legacy is in the motorcycle runs when men used to get together in the woods to be able to be free to be themselves.
Which all
So
actually makes sense. That's when you say that, it just logically that makes sense on how these things evolve because everything is an evolutionary process. That's really interesting.
it's
So,
all it,
people that want to support the Leather Archives, what through donations, volunteering, what can they do? How can they do it?
Absolutely. Go to the Leather Archives website. You can become an annual donor. There's different levels of donation. Those of you that are a little bit older like me that have thought about your legacy, you can absolutely put us in your will. And if you need any assistance with that, you can always reach out to Gary and talk to Gary about how to help make that happen. Um, uh, younger folks when I was younger, and I didn't have a lot of money. $20, for some people is a lot of money. And those of you that are in Chicago, absolutely reach out to Gary and offer to volunteer. He can always use more volunteers, a few hours a week. And a lot of times when we have these Leather Pride weekends, or we have a film showing, or we have like a bondage night or something like that, we always need extra hands to help people out. So there's lots of different ways to get involved, whether it's financially through the website or when you're in person in Chicago. So
do you with the remote work people are able to do now, do you have like volunteer opportunities for people that are based in other cities?
That's a really good question. That would be a Gary question, definitely. I mean, he does travel quite a lot to events and stuff like that, and I'm sure that he would be delighted to, connect with somebody. So those of you that are in Baltimore, if you see me or Gary there, I mean, maybe it's something that we can start thinking about, is having local volunteers helping Gary when he's traveling, or helping me when I'm traveling, because I'm retired now, so I travel a little bit more and go to a few more events.
Well, we would certainly love to have you in Phoenix.
I know.
Anytime you like.
Yeah. Side note, I was invited to come out to Phoenix, but I've had it's been a busy year for me.
Yeah, and we're hoping that you'll be able to make it out next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to make it out to Phoenix. I keep meeting some really great folks from Phoenix, and your weather is ideal. So
yeah, especially at the winter time.
Yeah. Right. So I would say for people, go to the website, and if you if you just want to make a donation, you can join as a member. You can do a one-time donation. We do have a link to planned giving, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, certainly, to Gary, and he can help you out with anything and make it comfortable for you, whatever's comfortable for you, because our community is big, and some people have more privilege, and some people, it's like they have the privilege of time and youth and energy. So,
Right.
So depending on what your circumstances, there's lots of ways to help out.
So Billy, as someone who's at the heart of leather history, how do you see Leather Pride Weeks evolving over the next couple years?
Absolutely. I would like to see just more engagement across. One of the things that I believe is that, especially for folks that are living in the United States and even in some European countries, what they really want us to do is go back into the closet. They're trying to erase our history. They're trying to make us feel ashamed of who we are. And so my feeling is that if you have the ability, lean in. Don't go away, lean in, be proud, support your local businesses, support your local clubs.
Right. If somebody at the bar says, "Oh, we can't talk politics here," because it might offend somebody. No,
we need to talk
politics.
We do, because the thing is that we were talking about this before. They are actually trying to erase our history. I mean, look at what the Trump administration did with women and African Americans. I mean, taking down information about Tuskegee Airmen, like, really?
They took out the Enola Gay. Enola Gay has nothing to do with actually being gay.
Yeah, exactly. So my feeling is if you have the ability, and every situation is different. If you have the ability, lean in, speak up, educate people,
be visible and be present.
Be visible and be present. I mean, one of the things that's really wonderful is that being part of the kink community is that there's so many different facets of our life. And part of the wonderful thing about being kinky is that we negotiate. And so we learn how to talk to each other, and we learn how to talk to people. And so part of like educating people is negotiation. It's like, okay, why do you believe that? Why do you think that, this is political? This is personal. As a trans man, if you're trying to erase me, that's personal. If you're trying to keep me out of spaces, that's personal. This is not political. This is personal. What you're doing is you're trying to erase me. If you're trying to keep drag queens out of gay pride, that is personal.
Right. Agreed.
whether you're drag queen, drag, you know.
Right. And then to try to shame somebody into just being silent about it.
Mhm.
No, don't ever go down that
No,
easy.
no. We decided back in at Stonewall that we weren't going to be silent anymore. You know, that's what that was
Mhm.
about. You know, and that's what this is about. This is about trying to silence us. And so part of it is remembering our history, saving our history, and then also leaning in to this time.
Yes.
Lean into this time. Don't be silent. If somebody says something that's homophobic, that's transphobic, that's body shaming, lean into it. You know, if you're a man and you hear something misogynistic, lean into it. Say something.
Right. But for a lot of people, they don't come from a time when it wasn't anything other than okay to be gay. They kids come out in high school,
Oh my God.
and that was I came up in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
That you certainly didn't want anybody to know.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, and that's
And now they're comfortable with that, and so they're not used to living in fear.
well, exactly, and they shouldn't have to live in fear.
They shouldn't.
You know, and that's the thing is that understanding that some of our younger people don't have that experience of. I mean, I came out in 1982, and the bar that I hung out at in Honolulu, Hula's, actually used to have 3-foot fences, and they had to raise it to 6-foot fences because people were throwing shit in the bar and yelling hateful, like anti-gay and and things about during this is in 82 during the AIDS epidemic. So, but the thing is too is that remember part of what makes us fierce is adversity. So
Right.
so for the young people that are out there, don't be afraid. Part of the reason why we're powerful is because we fight. So don't be afraid to fight and don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah,
You know,
I
there's
say
a
now
lot of
more than ever, this administration has really taught me that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. If you don't say something when something happens, like you said, you're just letting it go. We can't
yeah.
let this go anymore.
So is don't be nice. Speak up. You can be kind, but you can still speak up.
Right.
Don't let shit go.
Agreed.
So
We just broke the internet.
yeah.
I'm sure saying shit is not what's breaking the internet. There's plenty of other stuff out there worse than that.
No,
Maybe Facebook.
and I think it's wonderful that there's people that found kink when they were younger, that came out as gay or trans when they were younger, but now it's like it's their time. It's your time as a young person. You're the one with the energy. Lean into it. Talk to somebody and speak up, because as long as we speak up and we work together, whether we're kinky or queer or trans or drag or leather or whatever, this is what we've always done. Is we've always worked together, to fight oppression. And if I'm oppressed as a leather man, then you're going to be oppressed as somebody that's not kinky. And if a drag queen is, I mean, this has really started with drag queen story hour.
Right.
And then they started with like saying to protect the children, who are being forced to transition. And now look what they're doing. They're trying to throw trans service members out of the military.
Right.
People that are perfectly good, like Paulo Bautista, one of the IML judges.
Yeah.
Perfectly capable and happy to serve our country. And, I mean, and I'm a trans man. So women, if you saw me in your bathroom, what would you do? Like, I mean,
is that what they really want?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
No, but that isn't what they want. They just want.
They want us to go back in the
They
closet.
want you to not be here.
They
want to erase that you don't even exist. That's what they want to do.
They want all of us to be in heteronormative relationships. They want to oppress men. They want to oppress women. They want to oppress everybody. I mean, this is an oppressive regime. Look at what they did with Roe v. Wade.
Right.
It's all the same. It's all the same oppression. They want to oppress everybody that's not part of
And the
their.
mind-blowing part of all of our current political situation is that this is not some kind of absolute majority in this country.
No, it's not.
This is at best we have maybe 40% or 50 of that will vote.
Yeah.
And this is
minority rule.
Well, and
it is absolutely, and it is.
Well,
Yeah.
and remember, it's like 39% of the people still voted for Herbert Hoover, and he did nothing during the Great Depression. So there will always be a third of your countrymen that will follow this. There's still a third of the people that thought that Richard Nixon did nothing wrong. Right. So those of you that, and the worst thing that you can do right now is be apathetic.
Right.
The nerdy reference I use is there's a lot more stormtroopers out there in the world than I realized.
Yeah, but
just follow orders.
The look can be hot.
The look, yes.
Yeah, and if you're a submissive, you should definitely follow orders.
So let's circle it back here for your personal connection. What first drew you to the Leather Archives?
The first time I came to IML was 92, but I knew about the archives before that. I came out into the leather scene in 1988 in San Francisco, and I knew Tony DeBlas. He was a personal friend of mine and an occasional play partner, and a brilliant man and very smart and kinky and really expansive in the way that he thought about the leather community. He's actually the person that designed our leather pride flag. That was Tony DeBlas. And so I had heard about it through people that I knew in San Francisco, and then in 92 when I moved up to Seattle. So I knew that they were talking about this, and we're starting to collect money. We started in a storefront. One of our board members, Rob Bienvenu, was telling me a story about, moving boxes, and Gail Rubin was actually a part of that conversation early on with Tony, certainly, because Gail is also an old friend of mine from San Francisco days, and the leading academic on the gay men's leather community, Gail Rubin. Because I'm nerdy and I'm a collector of things. My husband calls me a pack rat. I'm an archivist.
Oh, that's what I need to tell my husband.
Exactly. Tell him you're an archivist. I mean, a lot of us were just scarred in the late 80s and early 90s by watching all of our stuff be thrown into dumpsters. And so that's part of where my passion comes from, is knowing that I don't want this beautiful stuff. You look at some of the things in this museum, and wouldn't it be horrible if Etienne's murals were in a landfill?
Right.
And the back patches from clubs that are long gone are in the landfill somewhere.
So have you been a part of it since the beginning?
As a donor, yes. A donor, yes. And I was involved when we had when we actually burned our mortgage. I was a part of donating money for that as well.
Oh, very cool.
So since I've joined the board, I've definitely gotten more involved. But I've been a financial donor for the museum. I don't live in Chicago, even though people think that I do. So I wasn't able to volunteer, but I definitely was involved. Early on, when Joe Bean was our executive director, I was a part of the group in the Pacific Northwest where I lived, trying to get the word out about the museum when it was in its early days, in the infancy. So I've been involved at that level before, but certainly much more involved since I joined the board.
So do you remember the first time that you visited and then walked in? What was that moment like for you?
When I walked into the auditorium and I saw, because I was never in the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast was gone. When I walked in and I saw the murals, it was just, it just washed over me, because like I said, most of us that are gay can remember the first time we walked into a bar and how important that was for us, and the imagery. And the first time you see, I'm attracted to masculine men. And the first time I ever saw a leatherman, I didn't really know what it was, but I didn't know, do I want to be that? Do I want to have sex with that person? I don't know what it is. But when I walked in and I saw our imagery, my kinky imagery, it was pretty overwhelming. It was pretty overwhelming. And some of the stuff is fun. Like there's one of the past international Mr. Leathers, Jeff Tucker, his mother knitted Dick cozies. There's one in the yeah. So those of you that want to see something super fun and a little bit silly, there's a Leather Pride Dick cozy knitted by Jeff Tucker's mother in the museum.
That is awesome.
So, but so it's like some of it's fun. There's joy. There's joy. Even during the AIDS epidemic, we had a lot of joy. But it was just like, and knowing that my history is safe here was pretty wonderful.
So what's your pitch to everybody who's watching who has never been to the archives and museum?
I tell you what, it's like, if you can make it to Chicago, it's a one of a kind of experience for sure. And even if you're not kinky, it's a really great experience. I think that the more we know about people that may not be like us or may not think or like us, the more we understand about other people, the more we develop empathy and compassion for the lives that people walk. And I tell you what, some people come into their kink a little bit later in life, and maybe you'll see something here. Maybe you'll come and see the spanking exhibit and you'll go, one of the other exhibits that we did that was really fun was one of our local Chicago leathermen, Dr. G. Yang, actually did an exhibit, a scholarly exhibit on pup play and the history of pup play.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so those of you that don't know what pup play is, people actually will wear masks and kind of take on the persona of a dog.
Oh, we know all about pup play in Phoenix.
Okay, so
we have a big pup community here. So
exactly. So you guys know about it. So part of the exhibit was they had a mirror and you could actually put a hood on and see yourself as a pup.
Yeah.
So if you can get to Chicago, it's an amazing experience, to come in and see the museum. And certainly, and so I would recommend those of you, like, follow us on whatever socials you can. We have a really great social media person that puts stuff up, lets you know where Gary's going to be, and lets you know when there's going to be new exhibits. So if there's an exhibit that you're particularly like, if you're a spanker, you should definitely get to Chicago and see the spanking exhibit really soon. It's pretty amazing. So.
And what are your social media handles so that people don't know that they can follow?
You were gonna ask.
Yeah.
And
So I
while you're
always
looking that up, let me ask you another question, because you had talked about a film that was shown or being shown there, and obviously that's not going to be something that's picked up by AMC or even our local Harkins, I doubt. So how's something like that get seen by our community? What's something that we could do in Arizona to bring it there? What are the steps? What happens to make something like that happen?
Well, I think you can talk to Gary. I don't know how he ended up getting the Darklands movie, but one of the things that was really cool, and this is one of the things that I believe that's true, is that COVID was very isolating for some people, and it was really hard for us to get together. So Gary started getting a little more creative about how he did things, and one of the things he landed on was showing films, and he created a fetish film fest forum. And so now we actually show movies here on a monthly basis, different movies. Last year at IML, I came down here on Saturday night, and I sat in this theater in Etienne Auditorium, and I got to watch Cruising. Yeah. So those of you that are interested in seeing movies, kinky movies, reach out to Gary at the museum. So let's see. Linktree. I love Linktree. So. So yeah, so on Instagram, if you just type in Leather Archives and Museum on Instagram, it's got our link tree on it. So it's got Blue Sky on there. There's Facebook. There. Oh, those of you that are super nerdy that have lots of time on your hands, we have a YouTube channel that has recorded interviews with people,
Oh,
Oh,
excellent.
different people in our community.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Doug O'Keefe has been
That sounds
doing
familiar.
fireside chats, exactly. Doing fireside chats with people. So I would say, depending on because on Instagram on Linktree, everything is there.
Mhm.
So I don't have to tell everybody all that. But Leather Archives and Museum.
Leather
And
Archives
it's
and
all
Museum. Remember that. And museum.
and museum. So yeah, leatherarchives.org is the website.
Excellent.
But I'm a picture person, so I'm an Instagram person. I like Instagram.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, yeah. So today, so we opened 2 shows this weekend. We opened the spanking exhibit, and then today, part of the reason why I'm here as well is, in addition to the reception and recognizing we're on Eman, we also have the opening of a homosexual renaissance, contemporary interpretations of historic religious icons, and a longtime former board member of Leather Archives and Museum, Bear Man out of Fort Lauderdale, owner of Leatherworks. Actually, this has been a dream of his for 10 years to mount this show, and so I'm looking forward to seeing him and seeing the show. So there's always something going on here. There's something for everybody here. So, if you're
Mhm.
into religious iconography, there's a great show. If you're a spanker, there's a great show. If you're a back patch club member, there's the back patches right
Right.
now. If you love art, there was so much art in this building, and it's our art. It's our kinky art. So there's a little bit of art for every, and there's our history in here. So when you go downstairs, there's history. So
I really like that exhibit down there for the dominatrix,
Mhm.
Mistress Violet.
Mistress Violet, exactly.
Yeah, they had. I presume that she donated a number of her costumes.
Yeah.
And all of these special still clips.
Yeah.
So that's literally what you said. As long as you're like got a little bit of kink in you, you're gonna find
Yeah.
a treasure trove here.
Well, and the other thing is too is that you don't have to be kinky to enjoy the
No,
museum. It's so specifically, it's so there's so it's so interesting and it's so one of a kind. There's nothing like this in the world.
Well, I think, and Matt Moody, thank you. Shout out to Matt Moody who's watching. He put a comment out there. Chicago Eagle wall murals blew his little 21-year-old mind. So I can imagine, yeah, someone who has no impression and then goes in, what kind of impression that
I
can
know.
kind of make. So
I know Matthew through IML.
Yeah.
I know Matthew through
Yeah, he's one of
IML.
our club brothers too. Yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah.
well, you guys got a good chance of getting somebody else's on the boxes again then. Yep. Matthew was one of the
he
first
plays bronze.
bronze, second runner up. That's right, second runner up.
I believe
Yeah,
I was
that's
23. I hope I don't get that year wrong, Matt.
23. Yes, because it wasn't last year, right?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't last year. Yeah. Shout out to Matthew Moody. Yep.
he says Chicago's where he started his leather journey at Cell Block.
Cool. Awesome.
That's
That's
awesome.
great. That's awesome. Yeah, Chicago's a great leather town. If you're a leather person, there's some great bars here. You got like within walking distance from the museum, you've got the Jackhammer.
Yeah.
You've got Touche. You've got Leather 6410, like one block over. So yeah. And we get so much support from the community here. The guys that own the Jackhammer from Two Bears Tavern, when we had to get new doors because she's a really old building. She needs love. We needed to get new doors for security, and we did a fundraiser. And the guys from the Jackhammer from Two Bears Tavern, they actually matched the money that the community raised, and we were able to put those doors up really quickly. So this is, to me, this is the community,
Right.
and And you can do this in your own local community, taking care of your own local community in the same way. It's so important to volunteer, and where you have the finances, support the local businesses,
Right.
and help each other out, because
Yes,
they
and
really
we're
do.
also very excited. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, that Matthew Moody is working really hard to bring the barracks to Phoenix, which is going to be our new leather bar. We're going to be
Oh, that's
keeping
great.
leather history alive that way.
Yeah, I was super sad when the barracks closed in Palm Springs. I love going to Palm Springs.
Sunday,
Yeah,
fun day.
yeah, Sunday fun day.
Oh, Sunday
Yeah,
fun day at the barracks. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah. And anybody that's got a friend in Chicago this weekend, this is live right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like, so if you have a friend in Chicago at Sidetrack on is it Monday? Yeah, on Monday they have gear. They have gear tunes. So dress up in your gear and go to Sidetrack and do show tunes.
Oh,
Oh yeah, look at
I
that.
so want to see this. I want to see this so bad.
we're looking over at Robert, sitting here off on the side. Yeah, he is show tunes.
Unforgotten song, and these two won't even know what show it's from.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're
Trust
gonna
me,
have to just plan a Phoenix road trip to Chicago.
yes, definitely. Chicago's just a great, super supportive leather town. And those of you that want to know more about Chuck Renslow, there's actually an autobiography about him. He was a really interesting guy, really super interesting man. He is the founder of International Mr. Leather, and he and Tony DeBlas co-founded the Leather Archives and Museum. But
What an amazing legacy.
he was such an incredible man, just such an incredible man, and still out there doing his thing, still like having sex and being out there, as a leatherman, you know. Yeah, he was just a great guy, really, really wonderful guy. So many stories, people share, with me, those of us that knew Chuck and stuff like that. But, it's a really great book. It's really interesting. It talks about all of the businesses that he had. Talks about Etienne, his
What's the
lover,
name of the book?
who's, Chuck Renslow, the Leatherman. Those of you, all you have to do is Google Chuck Renslow. Just Google. Yeah, just Google. I know that I know that's how things work now. Just Google Chuck Renslow. But it's a real fun book. Yeah,
So taking it back to the guys in Phoenix that are out there, Mike, can you give us the latest on what's happening today?
Right. So this evening is the biggest part of the contest. The show will start this evening, and the first thing that we'll be doing is announcing the top 20. Everybody will have one more chance to be on stage and be introduced, and the top 20 will be identified. At that point, it is a whole new contest again. So those 20 will be doing a mini version of the whole weekend. They will be doing a leather formal wear. They will be doing a
speech.
They will be doing a PHX impersonality.
Yeah, the erotic wear.
Erotic wear.
That's what I call it. Everybody people call it jockstrap and stuff like that. It's really erotic wear. So
you're right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I call
I need
it.
to get my Recon membership so I can check out the final day of the show.
So just to let you know, this year we did something new at IML. We are doing a pay-per-view. So those of you that want to watch the show can actually watch it. If you really want to watch it, you can go to the IML website and actually buy, if you're going to watch it by yourself, for tonight only, $35. If you want to watch it in a bar with a group of friends, we ask you to buy the business package for $175. But you can actually watch it, and we actually have 3 people that are doing commentary that we are not listening to in the audience. So I'm going to listen to this after the fact.
Oh, awesome.
International Mr. Leather 2017, Ralph Bruneau, Imzel, Girl Complex, Imzel 2017, Girl Complex, and Jack Keegan from Mr. New England Leather. And Jack, I'm terribly sorry, I can't remember what year you were title holder. Things got a little crazy post-COVID years. But if those of you that really want to watch it, you have a contestant or something like that, especially those of you that are stuck back home, you can actually watch it live this year. This is something brand new that we're trying.
I'm going to do something really crazy, and I'm going to throw this out there since we know Matt Moody's watching. Matt Moody, when the barracks is open, are you going to be buying the package so that we could all have a night at the barracks and watch IML? Let's see if he responds. Let's see. That'd be awesome. Because we need a place. It would be awesome to have a place for us to go sit and get a cheer on the guys. It drives me nuts that our current bartender.
We had 6 watch parties in Australia. We had 6 watch parties in Australia. Yeah. So it's crazy. And the reason why we were able to do pay-per-view is Recon. Recon was our international media sponsor, and this is Recon's 25th anniversary.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Awesome.
We had a great party, a great social for them after the Pecs and Personality on Friday night. It was off the hook. It was crazy. There were people waiting to get in at 9:00, and we finally chased everybody off the floor at 2 a.m. because the hotel staff had to close the ballrooms. Yeah. It was crazy, but yes, a shout out, and it's really great. The owner of Recon, Philip, is actually with us this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And Anton has been just a pleasure to deal with. So those of you that have never been on Recon, you should definitely check out Recon.
And I love it. We have Matthew Moody's answer. He says, absolutely.
When is it? Oh, when are you opening up, Matthew? That's what I want to know. I want to know when that new barracks is opening up.
We all want to know. That's the big mystery right now. So.
Well, I'm excited that the barracks is going to be opening up there.
Yeah, it's going to be
fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole new chapter in Phoenix.
Yep. I'm a cigar smoker, so any bar that has an outside area for me to light up and kick back and have a smoke in my gear, that's my kind of place. I love those kind of places. So
yeah, you just don't want to do it in 120-degree weather though.
Yeah. I gotta time my trips. I time my trips to Fort Lauderdale that way too. No summers in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, we're kind of October to April.
October to April, cool. Yeah. I'll be going up to okay, cool. So it's exciting, sometimes we think about, would Chuck like this? Chuck would love this. He would love that we're doing pay-per-view. He was such an innovator. I mean, I remember when he would talk to us on Sunday night, he called this the family reunion. He called International Mr. Leather the family reunion.
Right.
And also known as the knitting convention.
As the what convention?
The knitting convention.
Knitting convention.
Like knitting. But every year he would speak from the stage about something that was important in our community. He would talk about, especially during election years, about the importance of voting and voting for the Democratic Party. He would, when crystal meth really started taking off in the community, he got up and talked about crystal meth. Before PrEP, when barebacking was really just increasing the number of people, he talked about that. Chuck never, and this goes back to leaning in. Chuck leaned in.
Right.
Chuck leaned in, and those of you that are leaders in the community, part of our job right now is to lean in and to help the people that are a little scared, or the people that have no experience leaning in because they never had to, help them come along. That's the thing. Support our businesses, support our institutions like LNM, and support your events. Put your phone down.
And our local bars.
And your local bars. Support, even if you don't drink, the local bars have lots of non-alcoholic options for you,
Right.
You know, and those of you, I'm in recovery, and what I want to do is those of you that are in recovery, there's a really great new website. It's called soberleatherman.org, and it has the list of the leather events that have recovery at them, and then also online meetings and in-person meetings. So those of you that are kinky that get sober, you don't have to put your kink away. You can come out and join us, join the party, you know, or those of you that are, you know, maybe been sober and are curious about kink. There's those of us that are doing kinky stuff that are sober too. So I mean, it's a great community.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about being your authentic self. So whether you're, you know, you're a pup, or you're a bluff leather man, or you know, you're a dominatrix, you know, or a leather woman, you know, it's how do you express yourself, and how do we work together to keep our local and our queer-owned businesses alive, and support LA&M, which basically records our history and preserves our history. So
Yeah, it's
Well,
wonderful. Now is a time where we need to come together more than ever. So
yeah, now is the time to lean in and come together.
It's been incredible for you to give us some of your valuable time and here, you know, in this sacred space. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. It's really great. We had such a hard time connecting. I'm wearing two hats this weekend. So I'm the president of the Leather Archives and Museum, and I work for IML since 1999. And so I've been kind of like going back and forth between taking.
You're the director of sponsorships there.
Yeah. So I'm in charge of IML sponsorships. So I've been taking care of our generous sponsors like Recon and Vive Pharmaceuticals, which makes the injectable rapid tube. You know, so and we have some leather vendors that are also our sponsors. Gym Support donated 3 slings, 2 for raffle and one for our winner. So it's like, I mean, this is why we need to support our local businesses.
Yeah.
You know, Cock Block, Mafia, the Fisting Club. Fisting is just exploding everywhere. We had I don't know how many clubs we ended up having at the Mafia Social. It was like 12 clubs from all over the country at the big Mafia Social that we did. You know, just amazing new businesses like Fetish Daddy out of London, a gold sponsor this year. Like, just amazing. Swiss Navy is our lead partner. So just incredible. And of course, those of you that have not been to Darklands, you really have to go to Darklands. It's just an incredible experience as a leatherman. And they had they had a cigar lounge this year. I was in heaven. I was absolutely in heaven.
So Matt Moody also says that he'd love to get LA&M connected with Barracks too. And of course, Chico, shout out to Chico with Onyx. He says Billy Lane for president.
Chico already president. So absolutely, Matt.
I think he's thinking 2028.
No. Unity. So, but yeah, just like, you know, I'm just so grateful for the opportunities that my community gave me. You know,
and Billy, we have to thank you too for making this happen and letting us do it from inside the archives. This is such a cool view. You know, I can't thank you enough. I thank you for your time and everything. And of course, you know, Mike and Nick, thank you to the Arizona Men of Leather for making this live stream even possible. You know, you helped make this show come to life in this whole stream. So I can't thank you guys enough.
It was really nice meeting you, Billy. Great name.
Yes, I agree. All right, Mike, let's see here. So when is the show tonight starting?
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So those of you that are here, doors at 5, show at 6. Doors at 5, show at 6.
So start watching our socials around 4 o'clock Phoenix time so you can see the results and if our Phoenix 4 made it to the top 20.
Yeah, you guys got 4. That's quite impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Yeah, let me give a quick shout out to our title holders and their titles. We have Joe Connolly representing the Newtown Saloon as Mr. Newtown 2024. We have Dennis Daniels representing AML's home bar, the Anvil Phoenix, as Mr. Anvil Phoenix 2025. Terry Pochert, he is Southwest Leather Daddy 2024. And Brit Zane, Britannic Zane,
Okay.
he is Mr. Phoenix Leather 2024.
This is one of our biggest classes ever. Our biggest class was 71, and this is our second class of 68. So there's a fierce competition. There's a lot of great competitors. So.
Well, we'll try not to send you 25 title holders next year, okay? Try to keep it down to a reasonable amount.
I know that Texas tried really hard to get as many or more than California this year. And I think they got close. I think Texas got close to California. So
how many did they send?
We have a lot. I'm in charge of the sponsors, not the contestants. That's on the Yelp.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Well, I assume that we're going to have at least one more that we're going to be sending next year, which would probably be Mr. Barracks, right? I'm assuming. So.
Oh yeah, Mr. Barracks.
Yeah, Moody says that he'll be there in Chicago with Mr. Barracks Phoenix. So.
Cool.
Maybe we'll have a fifth one to bring up.
And and Ben will be Ben Calderon. He is our Mr. Anvil Phoenix for 2025. Yeah.
Yes.
So. All right. You got it. I have to go. I've got guests.
Yes. Billy, thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is great.
Mike, are you able to stay for a few more questions, or do you need to do the polite thing and show him the way out?
We're going to need to wrap up here because they're going to be starting all of the activities here for the president.
All righty. Then let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to say before we go any further that I want to remind everyone that there is a campaign going on right now to shine a spotlight on Copper Cactus Ranch. They need our help. This incredible retreat space is at risk of being lost. They've launched a campaign to try and raise the funds they need to survive. You can find all the details at saveccr.com. And again, big leather love and gratitude to Arizona Men on Leather for making all this possible. So thank you, Nick, Mike. We love you guys. Be safe. And we look forward to all the posts that you're going to be posting this afternoon from the show.
Yes.
Chico, Matthew, thank you for joining in on the stream. I appreciate it, even remotely. All righty. And with that, let's do the formal. Let's see. Here we go. I can do this. All righty. And of course, I'm wearing the Diamondbacks t-shirt because we are giving away tickets to Pride Night with the Arizona Diamondbacks, thanks to Oliver Electric. Find all the details at GayPHX.com. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all. We love you.